An historic snowstorm hits the Charlotte area.
Out on the roads where DOT crews are scrambling to keep up.
Heavy snow in parts of the area already, and the worst is yet to come.
All hands on deck for power crews as snow piles up on branches and power lines.
Here in Hickory, what residents are doing to keep safe in the snow tonight.
I'm live in Concord where the snow is really coming down and now turning to slush on the roads. I'm live in Statesville where the snow started late but quickly blanketed the entire city.
Our team coverage of Snowstorm 2015 continues right now.
This is WCNC, NBC Charlotte News.
And we begin the 11 tonight with a live look at Hickory, the city getting hammered right now with snow. It started coming down just after 7 tonight, hasn't let up since.
And out on the roads, things are getting a little trickier, and that is the reason that CMS decided to cancel school tomorrow to keep those buses off the roads.
Here's a look at the first worn Doppler radar tonight. It's lit up like a Christmas tree at the moment. We're at the height of the storm as we begin our newscast tonight.
We have you covered from uptown to Hickory with crews spread across the viewing area covering every angle of this winter storm. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Sonia Gant.
And I'm Bill McGinty. Boy, Brad, this is really turning out to be a big storm. It really is living up to what you said it would be.
Yeah, and it's really about location. If you're on the north side of town, it's been a lot of snow. South side, we've seen a lot of rain mixing in, but we're not done with the snow yet. The heaviest stuff is actually still back to the west. And there's colder air back there that will likely change a lot of this, even where it's raining, back to snow. So if it's raining where you are, trust me, we're going to see a big burst of snow at the end. There's going to be a grand finale at the tail end of the storm. And here's why. The upper low, which is up there around 10, 15,000 feet, is right here. There's a lot of cold air. And you see these kind of banding features, we call them? That is actually where the heaviest snow has been. This area back here has actually produced the heaviest snow of the storm so far back in northern Alabama and parts of Georgia, where we've seen 7 to 8 inches. You see how these bands are lining up? These are like thunderstorms. They are producing heavy snow, and that has yet to move through. You can see most of that snow is dipping farther south than where it is right now over the Carolinas. Now, temperatures have been key. We've been bouncing back and forth, 31, 32, 33 degrees. So temperatures are marginal, which means a lot of the snow is melting on contact. Where we've seen problems is where that heavy snow is set up. We kind of reduced the totals a little bit and narrowed up the band, but I'm telling you, in Mecklenburg County, just as we expected, if you go from the northern part of the county to the southern tip, you go from just a couple of inches to maybe 6 or 8 inches by the time this is all said and done. Coming up, we're going to take a look at some of the pictures from our spotters across the area and look at some of the other impacts we're going to see through the night. We still got 7 more hours of this to get through.
Wow. Well, now to another live look at the roads. The snow is really piling up, making for potentially treacherous conditions. Thankfully, not a lot of people are out driving tonight.
The state DOT has 90 crews out there clearing the roads in the greater Charlotte area at the moment. Here in Mecklenburg County, there are 44 plow trucks trying to keep up with all this snow. NBC Charlotte's Ben Thompson is out in the middle of all of this, keeping an eye on conditions. Hey, Ben.
Hey there, Bill. Right now we're going down 77 South, and my photographer, Thomas, is going about 45 miles an hour, trying to be very safe. He tells me it is rugged and it is slippery, and as we found out tonight, even the interstates and highways can be dangerous.
Tonight, this truck spun across the snow and slammed into an embankment along the Brookshire Boulevard. The driver just trying to get to work, lucky enough to make it out okay.
We're happy because she's good, she's okay,
All night tonight, an armada of salt trucks tackle the streets, trying to keep accidents like this one on the John Belk Freeway at a minimum. A total of 44 trucks with 90 crew members salting and plowing local interstates and highways, while 32 trucks with 64 crew members focused on city streets and secondary roads. Earlier today, they put down brine solution. Some of it washed away in that initial rain.
We'll be working around the clock. We'll be evaluating conditions on an ongoing basis.
But even that work, not enough to prevent every accident. All the more reason to stay home. A lesson already learned by the Vasquez family.
We need to be careful, and we need to stay home.
And now back out here live on I-77 South, and we're heading just past the Tyvola exit. A few cars out here, but not too much. Road crew is going to be out again overnight. They tell us what they're concerned about in the morning is some black ice. If you see a clear spot, don't assume it's clear. Assume it's black ice. Live along I-77, Ben Thompson, NBC Charlotte.
All right, thanks, Ben. And now to Cabarrus County, which is one of the hardest hit tonight. The snow's really been coming down there. Take a look at this video from the DOT camera right there at Bruton Smith Boulevard. Looks like a snow globe out there near the Speedway.
NBC Charlotte's Erica Hayes is live at Concord Mills. Erica, give us an idea of how it's looking out that way.
Well, Sonia, like you said, it was like a snow globe out here for the past couple of hours, but those big, beautiful snowflakes have quickly turned to ice, a sleet mixture, which is really causing quite a mess on the roads. You can see that thick sludge forming on the roads, really making for some dangerous driving conditions tonight. It's a winter wonderland in Concord, something residents aren't too used to seeing.
Oh, man, like everything just stops.
And for some who weren't prepared for this winter blast, it's going to be a cold night.
You see what I'm wearing? I mean, I pretty much gave her my car, and it's like pretty thin.
Road conditions have steadily gotten worse throughout the night, with all that snow quickly turning to slush. Not the best situation for those who have to drive, like Melinda Comer, who made the trip today from Raleigh to Concord.
I had to come get my husband. His flight was canceled, and he couldn't get home, and so we're trying to get back home before the possible 10 inches of snow.
And as the snow continues to fall overnight, getting off the roads will be everyone's best bet. Now, we did recently get an update from DOT. Here in Cabarrus County, they tell us that the interstates and the primary roads are partially to mainly covered with snow and ice. So as you can imagine, these conditions only getting worse. So you do want to go ahead and stay off those roads. Reporting live tonight in Concord, Erica Hayes, NBC Charlotte.
Yeah, good advice there, Erica. The snow is coming down really hard tonight in Pineville as well. Driving right there along Pineville-Matthews Road, Highway 51, you can see most people took the city's advice to avoid driving on the roads tonight.
And take a look at this map we're about to show you. This gives you an idea of the scope of the storm. All of the highlighted areas have canceled school for tomorrow.
And that, of course, includes the biggest district in the area, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools. NBC Charlotte's Dave Wagner is live with that part of our team coverage. Hey, Dave.
Yeah, hey, guys, if you heard that cheer around 8 o'clock tonight, it was for all those CMS students who don't have school tomorrow. There are 145,000 students and 18,000 employees in CMS, and they said that they canceled classes with safety in mind. They've also canceled all after-school activities tomorrow, and that includes sports. CMS students have already missed 2 snow days this year, but the school board is allowing up to 4 more snow days that won't have to be made up. I will tell you that CMS officials say they will monitor road conditions as well as weather conditions for Friday to see whether or not they'll have school then. Live along the Billy Graham Parkway, Dave Wagner, NBC Charlotte.
All right, Dave, thank you. Our team coverage continues now with Dan Yasanoski. He is live in Uptown. Dan?
Guys, since the snow started falling around 7 o'clock, it hasn't just been sticking to the roads like these, but also to tree branches like the one sitting over there here in Uptown. That's a risk for nearby power lines. This was a big power outage in Noda tonight with over 2,000 customers without power for a couple of hours. But Duke Energy tells us that it wasn't weather related. It was caused by an equipment failure. Power to those customers was restored by around 10 o'clock. But with the forecast showing that this snow isn't stopping anytime soon, people like Sala Johnson are hoping to have power come tomorrow morning.
I have a salon that's right down the street in the Cherry neighborhood, and there are a lot of trees over there. So, you know, I definitely don't need any power outages when it's time to go to work. I want to be able to get in there and do what I need to do.
Duke Energy is urging their customers to have the necessities like flashlights and candles and, of course, food and water, because you never know how long it could take them to restore any outages based on what the road conditions could be like here. We're live in Uptown. Dan Yasanoski, NBC Charlotte.
All right, thank you, Dan.
Well, our neighbors in Iredell County were among the last to see the snow start falling tonight. NBC Charlotte's Diane Gallagher is there live in Statesville. Diane?
Yeah, no major issues here yet. The snow's been falling pretty heavily for about 2 hours. And, you know, we weren't sure if it was going to fall or not. So we set this little GoPro up right here to start from the very beginning, which gives you a nice 15-second speeded up look at just how Statesville started looking like this.
From the very start of the time lapse, you can see it took a while for the snow to begin and even longer for it to stick. But once those flakes finally get to falling, Iredell County is quickly wrapped in a chilly white blanket to keep it cool. And it is still coming down out here. Trash cans full of windshield wipers indicate just how frustrating the past few weeks of weather have been for drivers up here. But not everyone has a problem with the powder.
But yeah, I think everybody should be sitting at home and enjoying it. It's beautiful. It's not going to last that long. It'll be gone by tomorrow afternoon probably. But if the roads are icy, obviously everybody be careful.
And the roads are just a little bit slushy out here right now. In fact, we actually just saw a state trooper skid a little bit on these roads out here. So if you do have to be out here, please be careful. The good news is, like everyone else is saying, we're not seeing a lot of cars out on the road right now here in Statesville at this point. Reporting live, Diane Gallagher, back to you.
Yeah, that is good news. We're getting a lot of weather pictures from our viewers tonight. This one was sent in to us from Concord, showing those big fat snowflakes falling out there. They look wet, too, obviously.
And we do want to see the type of weather that's happening where you live. You can send us your photos or maybe your videos to your pics at WCNC.com, and we might just show them on TV.
And I'm Bora Kim, live in Hickory, and what folks are seeing out here is being described as quite the winter wonderland, but of course it is making the driving dangerous. We're already getting several reports of accidents. I'll have the details coming up.
And we're back now with a live picture for you out of Concord. You can see the snow's really coming. It almost looks like a mixture of rain and snow falling there, but definitely more on the snow side. And that's, as Brad said, going to continue for the next 7 hours. So hunker down, everybody. Crews at the airport are working around the clock to keep things running as smoothly as possible.
But even so, there are plenty of people who cannot get where they want to go tonight. NBC Charlotte's Chris Clark is joining us live from the airport with more. Chris?
Yeah, we've got just about everybody out of here. Most were able to find hotels in Charlotte, but there was a pair of people that are going to be spending a lonely night at Charlotte Douglas. Extraordinary weather outside makes for rough conditions inside Charlotte Douglas for stranded travelers.
Earliest flight they could give me was 4:30 tomorrow p.m.
I'm stuck here. I'm coming from London.
Chairs and electrical outlets are quickly snapped up. Duffel bags serve as pillows, coats double as blankets, and comfort is at a premium.
I don't know what I'm going to do here, so I'm kind of stuck.
My day started about 13 hours ago. Just playing some games on a laptop I picked up in Georgia, and that's pretty much what I've been passing the time with.
Now, the airlines have been handing out little beds for people to lay down on. We just heard the last flight take off out of here. They're hoping to get things resumed tomorrow morning by 6 a.m. Delta has a flight. American Airlines is trying to get everything together by noon. These guys are going to be working around the clock, not just out here, but on the runways to try to get this thing back to normal as soon as possible. The airport says check with your individual airlines for updates throughout the night. And one last note, because I'm the sports guy, Charlotte beat the Chicago Bulls in Chicago, and Davidson beat Rhode Island. They're trying to fly back in tonight. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Live at the airport, I'm Chris Clark. Back to you.
Nice way to combine that weather and sports coverage. Thank you, Chris. Well, let's give you a live look now at Uptown Charlotte. For all the travel hassles and the road hassles, it really does. Snow makes for a very pretty scene out there. It looks very nice.
Beautiful. Just don't have to drive in it if you don't have to. All right, the snowstorm wreaking havoc on not just Charlotte highways, but throughout the southeast and the Interstate 85 corridor. The flakes first started falling in Atlanta during NBC Charlotte at 5. Since then, snow-coated roads in some spots up to 5 inches deep have created simply a nightmare situation for drivers.
About 2 hours north in Greenville, it's deja vu with interstates turning white. South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley has declared a state of emergency in 31 counties. Some spots in the Palmetto State could see upwards of 10 inches before it's all over.
And about 150 miles up I-85 in Raleigh, what just hit us is now pounding the Triad. The precipitation now falling as snow. It's beginning to stick to the road and the grounds over there, but not welcome news in Raleigh, where Tuesday's snow led to more than 2,000 accidents.
Now let's go live to Hickory, where NBC Charlotte's Bora Kim picks up our team coverage. Bora, I can tell it's still coming down there.
Oh, yes, it's coming down pretty hard. It's very beautiful, by the way. But, Sonia, we're seeing about 2 inches of snow that is collecting here so far in Hickory. But, you know, where I'm standing right now, if you take a look at this vast space, you can see just how much snow has accumulated in less than 3 hours under the bright lights at this car dealership. Driving conditions in Hickory and surrounding areas are getting more hazardous by the hour.
Tread design and the tread depth, you see it's very deep.
Fred Fortman has his snow tires on during what will be his first major snowfall since moving from Vermont.
The biggest fear is loss of power.
Road crews have been prepping nearby I-40, and on this night we're respreading salt on major roadways like US 70. Catawba County Emergency Management remains on standby as 24 city public works crews will begin clearing roadways, so Fortman too can head out when it's safe to do so.
Give the road crews a chance to clear the roads, so it's better just to stay inside and hunker down.
Now, as you take a live look at the roadways here, I can tell you that this brine solution lasted for about a good hour. But of course, the snow was coming down so hard, it was really ineffective at that point. And again, we are getting reports of multiple accidents, 5 accidents here in the county, one including right off of I-40 at exit 125. And again, they're saying that the reports are just starting to come in. That's the latest here from Hickory tonight. Bora Kim, NBC Charlotte.
All right, Bora, thank you very much. Let's head over now and check in with Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. And the key, Brad, is going to be whether or not we can stay warmer overnight.
Yeah, that rain-snow line has been key. We thought this would be an issue going into this storm. 10, 20 miles makes all the difference in the world. That rain-snow line's been wobbling back and forth through parts of Union, York County. At times, it changes the rain, then back to snow. That is just the difference in 5 and 10 miles. I mean, Concord and North Charlotte, it stayed pretty much snow the entire time. And we're not done. The rain-snow line is wobbling back and forth right now, but the heaviest snow is actually on the back side of this system. Right in here, we've seen some impressive totals back in northern Alabama and parts of northern Georgia. This area has actually produced 5 to 6 inches just by itself. So we're not probably going to see the heavier amounts south of Charlotte because it's been so much rain initially. That eats up the snow totals, but there's still going to be a pretty healthy burst of snow at the tail end of this. Even if you're seeing rain right now, it's really just a matter of time before it changes to snow. There's a window here of 4 hours, 5 hours maybe of some heavy snow, and you only need 3 hours of heavy snow to put down about 4 or 5 inches. Temperatures have been bouncing as well between about 33 and 34 degrees, so we're seeing a lot of melting even with that snow. What's going on this go-around is we've seen this warm layer at the surface this time, bouncing up and down, so that's what's been causing the change from rain to snow and back and forth. It's not really been warm air aloft, it's been down near the ground, and that's been the issue as we've gone through the evening. So that heavy snow band, it's very narrow. It's been mainly in northern Mecklenburg County into Cabarrus County, and the rain-snow line has actually been bouncing back and forth. So just across Mecklenburg County, you're going to go from just a little bit of snow to a lot of snow, pretty much exactly what we expected. And if you're on one side of the neighborhood, you might get more snow than the other side. There's that rain-snow line. Look at it bouncing around through 1 a.m. But on the tail end of this, we'll expect a quick burst between 4 and 5. And by 6 a.m., this eventually moves out, and colder air starts to move in on the backside. I would not expect temperatures to warm up much tomorrow, and we may see a stray flurry in the afternoon into the evening hours as we go into Friday. Now, if you get snow at your house, best way to help us out is do some measurements for us. Go out in the yard, find 3 locations with your ruler or any kind of tape measure. Take those 3 measurements, average them out. That'll give you a pretty good estimation of how much snow you've had. For more on some of the pictures we've seen, we've got some great spotter reports and some of those overnight impacts. Let's go over to John Wendell in the Storm Center. John?
Well, Brad, this has been a very wet, heavy snow, the stuff that's really hard to move on out. Take a look at some of the snow amounts that we've had reported into us, and the heavier amounts have been to the north, up around China Grove, Concord, 2 inches of snow. Some locations getting close to 3 inches along Highway 40, Morganton, Hickory, up toward the Statesville area, about 2 inches, getting closer to 3 inches up that direction. Salisbury, Indian Trail, about 1 inch, Gastonia, 1 inch to 2 inches there. Around Rock Hill, there's been more rain, so that 1 inch, in some spots about a ½ inch. But notice Huntersville and Troutman, about 3 inches of snow have been reported. Here's some of the pictures our storm spotters have been sending in. David Barlow, Landis, reporting a couple of inches of snow. This one's from Andy Padegot over in Shelby with about 1 inch of snow there. And some of these came in about an hour or two ago, so they've had more snow on top of this. This is from Bevale. Mark Hauser sending that one in. Kayla Johnson, Mooresville, snow covering the ground there, and it's still coming down. Our last picture comes to us from Cool Springs, where they've had about 1 inch to 2 inches of snow. But again, Brad, it's been a very wet heavy type snow that's been falling.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting going into the overnight hours how much snow we can pick up before tomorrow morning. Most of this is going to wind down by around sunrise. Temperatures will struggle tomorrow to get into the mid and upper 30s. We will be melting what snow does fall across the area, but with the refreeze each and every night, you'll see those temperatures dropping down into the upper teens and low 20s. We're going to see black ice issues probably every morning going into the weekend. One more storm heads our way on Sunday. Looks a lot like the storm yesterday. Could bring us a brief shot of snow in some locations before the warm up next week. Certainly some parts of the south part of our viewing area got more rain, which robbed the snow totals, and that's what you always worry about in this case. If it rains for an hour, that's 1 hour of snow you're not getting. So eventually we'll see some of this change back to snow, but certainly lower total south. The northern side is really the area that's seeing the most snow.
Can I drive home tonight?
You should be okay. Take it slow.
I will do that. Well, the big impact from all of this snow is, of course, on the roads. The state DOT has 44 trucks out clearing area highways and interstates. The city has another 32 that will stay out through the night, salting and plowing. But that does not mean that the roads are not slippery. If you don't absolutely have to be out there, your best bet is to avoid driving altogether.
And a big thanks to all our viewers that are helping us track Snowstorm 2015 across the area. This photo was sent in to us from the university area where the snow is building up on the roads. This is right out near the UNCC campus. And we would like to see what type of weather is happening where you live. Send us your photos and your videos. You can send them safely. Do this, please, to your pics at WCNC.com. You just might see them on TV. We're back after the break.
All right, take a look at this beautiful, this is what you call just a winter postcard. Absolutely beautiful shot from our crew out near Concord Mills tonight, and you can see the snow still coming down very heavily there. Of course, the northern part of the county is where Brad said there would be a huge accumulation, and it is still falling there. Now take a look at this. Blinding snow fell in western North Carolina. This is a stretch of interstate in Saluda known for a 3-mile steep grade. Saluda is expected to get up to 5 inches of accumulation tonight in a winter storm that is dumping snow on much of the state. And right now, the weather's also impacting some of the events surrounding the CIAA. Tomorrow's Ricky Smiley morning show is canceled. The CIAA Career Expo will also start 2 hours later. So the doors at the Charlotte Convention Center won't open until 1 p.m. Right now, the men's quarterfinal games are running as scheduled, as is the Hip Hop Legends concert.
What we're trying to do is to organize ourselves across the different agencies to ensure that the tens of thousands of people coming to our city to have a good time can do so in a safe manner.
Officials with the tournament want fans to take their time traveling to the convention center and also Time Warner Cable Arena. We'll be right back in just a moment.
And before we go tonight, we want to give you another live picture of Uptown. Boy, the snow is starting to pile up out there. It's a real wet snow. In fact, it feels like you're standing in rain. I was out there just a minute ago to check it out, and it feels like the sleet when it was coming down.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
It's amazing the difference out there. I mean, people understand the fine nuances and little subtleties that can change it from rain to snow is 1/10 of a degree just a couple hundred feet above our heads. And then across the area, I mean, you look at North Charlotte, this is Concord. It is snowing like crazy. There's probably 4 or 5 inches of snow up there. Down in South Charlotte into Union County, there's almost no snow because it's been so much rain. Now, at the very tail end, we expect this to change back to snow. The problem is, because it's been rain for several hours, that's going to reduce the totals south of Charlotte. So you see the back edge, and the back edge has got a very big swath of snow that extends deep into the south. So that little band's going to swing through, and it may only last a couple of hours, but the snowfall rates are 2-3 inches per hour. So it may only take a couple of hours to put down 2 or 4, maybe 5 inches of snow in spots. But all in all, it's going to reduce total south. North of Charlotte, I still think we're going to see some pretty impressive totals. And as we expected, across Mecklenburg County, we thought we'd see a huge spread in the snowfall, and that's the case. So overnight, snow will continue. The heaviest will be after midnight. And I think John Wendell's outside the studio right now. And John, is it rain, sleet, snow? What's going on here off the Billy Graham Parkway?
All of the above, Brad. We are getting snow and big snowflakes, but we're also getting some sleet and some rain. And I'll tell you, making a snowball, it's become an ice ball. But that's the type of precipitation we're having. Very slushy precipitation falling right now. But right now, outside the studio, a combination combination. It's heavy, but it's a combination of snow, sleet, and rain. Back to you.
Yeah, and that's going to be the case overnight. I think across the county, it's going to be amazing to see these totals. And I think they could even be more extreme than we expected because it's been more rain in the south, but it's been mostly all snow north.
All right. Well, our morning show tomorrow will be beginning at 4 o'clock, so you can get the very latest on the roads and also the forecast. Brad's just at the beginning of his night. He's going to stay here and be following it.
Yeah, all right. If you have to drive tonight, folks, be careful. Really, please. Have a good night, everybody.
NBC Charlotte.